Hello everyone, my name is Roberto Avila Valenzuela. I'm a pre-med student in my junior year of college and I'm majoring in physiology with a minor in biochemistry. Now, applying to medical school is a very long and complicated process and I'm going to explain that to you today. I'm going to divide the video into 8 different subjects: good GPA, completion of required classes, MCAT, clinical experience, shadowing hours, research experience, letters of recommendation, and personal statement. GPA. You're always told that you have to have a good GPA to apply to medical school. And even though that is true that you have to have a good GPA, you don't have to be a 4.0 GPA student in order to be applicable. GPA is not the only requirement for medical school. This is why you have to pay attention to all the other ones. Having a good GPA is a good thing to have. However, you can still get into medical school if you don't have a 4.0 GPA. The importance of college is that you are understanding the subjects, so having a good GPA should be linked to the process of learning. However, you don't have to be a straight A student to apply to medical school. But if you can do that and if you can accomplish that, that will look better for you. However, you don't have to be 4.0 a student in college to be applicable to medical school. Completion of required classes. Some of the requirements of medical school is to take some types of classes. Now, some examples of this is physics, biology, general chemistry, organic chemistry, biochemistry, psychology, and other social science classes, in addition to other classes that depend on the school that you want to apply to. You will have to take those classes in order to be applicable to medical school. However, you also need to take those classes to have a fundamental knowledge that you will apply to studying for the MCAT. And you will have pre-med advisors that will tell you that there are different resources out there for you to study for the MCAT. And I'm going to tell you more about that next. MCAT. Now, the MCAT is an 8-hour exam that you have to study for. You have to use the previous knowledge from the classes and apply that into your studying. For that, you will have to use different types of resources available out there, like Kaplan and Princeton reviews. For those, you have a set of 7 books that you have to study. You have to read the theory of what you're going to apply into practice later. So for that, you have to study those books to then apply that theoretical knowledge into practice. So if you only study for the exam, only reading the books, you probably won't do a good job during the exam. It is needed from you to practice that knowledge after you are done reviewing the books. Reviewing the books alone won't be enough to take the exam. This is why you have to utilize other types of resources out there. And those are practice questions and practice exams. You have to take a lot of different types of practice questions, practice quizzes, and practice exams. Now, like I said before, the exam is 8 hours, so it is required from you, if you want to do well on the exam, to do practice exams that will have the same length as the final one. Now, doing well on the MCAT is key to get into medical school. This is a very important exam that you have to succeed in. This is why you have to take the time to study for it. This is why you have to take the time to learn, not only memorize, but to learn the content of the books. Because that's how you complement all the knowledge that you get from all the books and all the resources that you studied before. And you cannot just skip this step. You have to practice the exams. You have to practice those questions and subjects. If you don't feel confident with biochemistry, which is a big portion of the exam, then you will have to practice that the most. And if you feel like you know biology better, then don't focus that much on biology, but still study it. Try to focus on what you don't know so that you can succeed in the areas that you feel the most uncomfortable with. This is a beast of an exam, and this is why you have to be well prepared to study for it. Studying for it like for other classes is not going to be the same. So for now, I hope you understand this is something important. Clinical experience. In order to apply to medical school, you have to have different type of experiences that will tell those medical schools that you know what being a physician is like. This is why you have to volunteer and or work in the medical field. An example that I can tell you on how to volunteer in the medical field is go to the hospital and ask for the volunteer department. Go ask, and then they will tell you which department you can volunteer at. And then after a time of volunteering there, you will be able to go into other areas in which you will have more interaction with patients. Interaction with patients is important. That's what the medical schools want you to have. They want you to know what treating patients is like. Something I have been doing volunteer-wise is volunteering as an interpreter in a clinic. I have been having that interaction with patients because I have to interpret for them and for the physicians as well as all the other medical staff. So if you speak another language, I would recommend to go out and ask clinics or hospitals if they need volunteers. Shadowing hours. This is something important that you have to pay attention to when you decide to apply to medical school. You have to have shadowing hours with different types of physicians. When shadowing, you will have the opportunity to ask questions and know how the physician's life is like. You are supposed to shadow for different types of physicians in different types of specialties and areas. It is good if you have shadowed different types of physicians and not focus just on one type that you think you like the most right now. You have not been exposed to all the specialties and you have not been able to rotate in the hospital to be able to completely 100% say that you like a specific type of specialty. You have to go in different types of areas and experiment with those. Research experience. Having research experience is important depending on the type of medical school that you're applying to. Some medical schools require you to have a lot of research experience, whereas other medical schools won't require it. However, even if the medical school that you want to get into doesn't require research, I would recommend to do research still, because you're going to apply to more than one medical school. So other medical schools will require you to have research experience. There are different types of classes and programs that will help you to get that research experience. Just go ahead and ask an instructor if you can join the lab team. You won't be doing too much in the beginning, but after you get some of that experience, you will learn what doing research is like. This is important because for medical school, research is a big part of it. In medical school, you also have the option to become a PhD. So having research experience will be very important for you to use that knowledge in the future when you do a PhD if you decide to. Either way, having research experience is necessary. Letters of recommendation. Letters of recommendation are important when you apply to medical school, because that way other professionals will be telling the medical school that what you are saying in your application is true. You want them to be able to tell the medical school that you have those traits that you talked about in the application, that you have done those things that you talked about, and that overall you are a strong applicant. This is why you have to invest some time on getting to know the instructor or physician or the person that you're going to ask for a letter of recommendation. You have to make sure that they will be able to say in those letters of recommendation that you have what it takes to be a medical student and what it takes to be a physician. They should get to know you enough to be able to address your potential to become a good physician. Personal statement. Doing a good job writing your personal statement is key when you apply to medical school. In the personal statement, you will tell the medical schools why you are different than all the other applicants. All the other applicants will have the GPA and will have the MCAT and will have the clinical experience. But the thing is that you are not the same as the others. You are supposed to have those traits and experiences that will help you outstand from the other applicants. You want to be able to prove medical schools that you are a strong applicant and that you deserve to get into that medical school. Answer in the comment section below something that you would like to know about the process of application to medical school. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell thingy up there so you will be getting more of the videos I will be sharing with you in the future about medical school and college. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I hope to see you in the next one.